I'm Steve Caplin for CreativePro, and we're going to look at how you can use Affinity's built-in distortion filters as part of your image workflow. Make sure you're on the pixel persona and not vector or layout. Make sure your layer is selected and go to Pixel, Filters and Distort. And you'll see a range of filters, most of which you'll also find in Photoshop. But a lot of them are much easier to use in Affinity. Let's take a look at Twirl. When you open it up, you'll see nothing, and that's because the angle is set to 0. As you increase the angle, you can see that distortion appearing here. And you can increase the radius up to a maximum of 1024 pixels. But the really useful thing is that you can pick it up and drag it exactly where you want it on the image, and then continue to adjust the angle and the radius. And a negative angle will distort counterclockwise. You can view the result either on the whole image or as a split view where you get the before and the after on each side, or you can view it side by side with a distorted view on the left and the original on the right. Let's cancel that and look at some more filters. Pixel, Filter, Distort, and let's look at the Spherical distortion, and this is the equivalent of Photoshop's Spherize filter. Once again, you see nothing when it starts off because the intensity is set to 0. As you drag that up, you can see the effect starting to take place. Increase the radius, and once again you can drag this wherever you want it in the image. And this is very much easier to use than Photoshop's Spherize filter because you can see exactly what you're doing and you can move the filter around and change its parameters on the fly. Let's cancel that. Pixel, Filters, Distort, and let's have a look at the glitch filter. And this gives you several different kinds of distortions. The strength, as with all the filters, starts off at 0, and as you drag it, then you get more of the effect coming through. So for aberration distortion, if you check bidirectional, then you get vertical as well as horizontal distortion. There are quite a lot of these to choose from. Shred will divide your screen up into horizontal bands, and by changing the pixel spacing, you can change the number of bands, and you can choose vertical as well as horizontal for a checkerboard effect. Then let's have a look at Blast, and this produces a very strong distortion. You're going to want to take the values down quite a lot here. But you can play around with it to get the effects that you want. Other interesting ones are a warp distortion, and this gives you a wave effect, but unlike Photoshop's wave effect, it's much more controllable. The turbulence slider will change the length of the waves. And it's impossible to get this kind of effect directly in Photoshop without an awful lot of trial and error. Let's have a look at another distortion. Pixel, Filters, Distort, and I'm going to show you Mirror. And the default is a horizontal mirror. You can also add a 3-way mirror, a 4-way mirror, and in fact you can go up to as many as you want. You can also drag the anchor point around, which determines the point around which the mirroring takes place. You can also change the angle of both the input and the output. So you can get a very, very wide range of effects just using this one mirror filter far more easily than you could in Photoshop. As I've said, there are plenty more filters available, and you'll see what Affinity can do for you. One filter that's very hard to use in Photoshop is the Displace filter, and we'll look at that in a separate video.
Well, I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, be sure to give it a like and subscribe to our channel. And for thousands more how-to articles and tutorials, visit our website, creativepro.com, and become a member today. Thanks for learning with us.